Faith-based films are trash. I'm sorry. There is no other way around it.
Perfect.
I want to start this video off by saying that this is in no way, shape, or form an indictment against faith, God, Christianity, or church as a whole. The same way that a movie that has nothing to do with faith can suck, the same can be applied to a movie that is faith-based. At the end of the day, they're still film. This video stems from a conversation I had with a couple friends not too long ago about the new era of film and television and how there's nothing wholesome anymore. A lot of these newer shows, it's kind of like watching pornography, but with good acting. Shameless does it, Power does it, Euphoria does it, Game of Thrones does it. A lot of these newer shows, they do it. Oh wow, look at these two characters. We should show these guys bang it out every 2 minutes, every episode, to prove to you, the audience, that they like each other. Like the writers are sitting around like, damn, we need 5 more minutes to make this episode complete. Sex! Yes! So where does something like faith-based films fall into that? Well, my friend mentioned to me that something with a positive message or faith-based message doesn't receive the same mainstream success or praise and recognition that other films do. I feel like faith can be used in television and cinema. The problem is that they're not doing a good job at it. Let's use the God's Not Dead franchise as an example. At the end of the day, the writer's goal is to communicate the message in a way that people who are not believers would understand and it would hopefully impact. The problem is it's very hard to get people on board with that message when that message consists of bad acting, bad camera work, and yes, one-dimensional writing, and that's what we're gonna focus on. Every character within this movie that is not a Christian is painted to look like a bad guy. Narcissistic, mean, a jerk, toxic, all-around bad person because they don't have Jesus. There's no struggle, there's no obstacles, there's no growth. So how are we supposed to resonate as the audience with these characters if they don't go through anything? Life is a feeling process. However these characters change, whether it's for the good or worse, we are supposed to go on a journey with these characters to figure out where they're going. Whether they change for the best like Tony Stark, a narcissist who turns into a hero, or Walter White, friendly neighborhood chemistry teacher who turns into Scarface, it's a journey nonetheless. And I don't want to hear this whole, well, their obstacle is that they're not allowed to say Jesus in school. There are people who are literally murdered in third world countries because they have a Bible on them. Y'all will be fine up in here. These freaking protagonists that look like they work as the cashier at the Chick-fil-A, bruh. So you have these movies that paint these protagonists with this superhero complex. They can do no wrong. They're not a bad person. The whole world is against them because they're a Christian, but they're actually this beautiful soul that has no flaw. That is not how life works. As a matter of fact, just because you believe in something does not make you a good person. I mean, there's a lot of slave owners who claim to be Christian, but they are definitely not in heaven right now. I'm sorry, we're talking about films. Now, follow me here. I've heard a lot of people complain about these newer films these days and how they painfully pander to the feminist agenda, right? Creating male characters that are misogynistic, that are sexist, or they're spineless, have no confidence, don't even know where they're going in life, making legendary characters a shell of themselves, incapable of doing anything right unless they have a woman with them and a female character. At the beginning of the movie, they have no flaws. And at the end of the movie, they're even more flawless. And their obstacles might as well just be cardboard cutouts you can smack over with one hit. Naturally good at any and everything because they're women and women can do anything. Take those same writing tropes and then apply it to the faith-based films. That's your problem. This idea of a character can only be strong when everyone around them is weak is bad storytelling. In the second film, they have a courtroom scene where they're literally having a debate on whether or not God should be used in schools, right? And there's no opposing thought or no opposing character because a lot of the scene is overran with why atheism is wrong. Once again, at the end of the day, these are still films. If I wanted to watch a video on why atheism is wrong and why God is alive, I would just go watch a sermon on YouTube, but that's not why we're here. Now, like I said before, I do believe that faith can be used throughout film and television. Now, if I may, this is my proposition. One of my favorite shows of all time is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. After I finished watching this show, I found this video from a YouTube channel called Wisecrack, breaking down the philosophy of this show and the duality between science and faith. Throughout the show, they explore these themes and the dangers of blindly following faith and science. And just because you believe in the power of one does not make the other one less important. Understanding the power of science does not mean that faith is less important. And just because you have faith in God does not make science less important. And that is what I feel like faith-based films need to go for. I don't think we need courtroom dramas about using Bibles in schools. I don't think we need faith-based football teams. I like the idea of using original or established characters and using philosophical ideas to incept faith throughout the story, as long as they go about it in a smart way. So it's not one of those, hey, Bruce Wayne, you want to come to Bible study? That's fun. That's fun. I'll never forget, I heard this interview with Dr. James Dobson, and he was interviewing the writer for Mulan. Now, the dude who wrote for the Disney Mulan, the animated one, so this gentleman, he is a Christian, as far as I know. James Dobson asked this man in the interview, so why at the end of the movie did you not have Mulan accept Christ as her Lord and Savior? Dog, at that would be literally the most random thing that would ever happen. All right, it's like, all right, that would be like, for example, at the end of Star Wars, Luke Skywalker just decides to make out with Han Solo because he realizes that he's gay. That would make literally no sense. That is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, don't be that guy. Don't just try to randomly add something just for the sake of you trying to spread the gospel. Especially considering the fact that if this was never a theme that was explored or even teased throughout the film, it would make literally zero sense for it to happen at the end of the film because that would be so random. Especially when throughout the whole movie, she never once even thinks about her faith. Why would we end up having that happen at the end? That makes zero sense to the story, to the character, to the development. But I will say, Mushu is played by Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy can sing, okay? So having Mushu sing in a choir, that'd be dope as hell.
Perfect.